Well, hey guys, I kind of thought about it a little bit and I wanted to go ahead and reshoot this video. I made one prior to the night before. And anyway, this is a VR, I guess, to Juleo over at Ocean 374. When you're using mass-produced bullets, okay, and they're just making mass-produced stuff, you know, Winchester, Remington, PPU, all these, you know, and you know, the onslaught of Lake City just cranking out ammo and then selling the reject ammo as, you know, under the federal Golden Eagle or whatever name. And, you know, this PPU stuff, I went out and fired it, and I wasn't happy with the groupings. So what I did is I decided to go ahead and, you know, check these. And I do a series of checks. Now, this is my method, it's my opinion, it's my theory, okay? When the bullet goes down the barrel, it makes a certain vibration, okay? And that vibration is like a tuning fork, you know, for a violin or a piano. And it has to have that same twang every time, okay? So the only factor that remains that's different is the bullet, okay? So different bullets of different shapes and sizes and weights shoot at different areas into the bull, you know, into the bull or whatever you're aiming at. You're going to have some variances there because you have a variance in vibration, okay? Now, this is my theory. The vibration that it creates has everything to do with bearing surface, okay? So you have a bearing surface that's so long from the ogive to the base of the bullet. And so what I do is I take my calipers and I check that. I check that measurement. Well, these are the ones that I've already, you know, sorted out, and I've zeroed, you know, pretty much zeroed my my caliper on them. Like that's 1/1000ths below. I'm not going to worry about that. You know, within a thousandths. If they're within a thousandths, I throw them in that pile. If they're like 10,000ths or 5,000ths, then I throw them over here in this pile. So let's see. Yeah, see right there. See, we're good. You know, these are those M2 ball projectiles. More into my theory, I believe that the core, okay, the lead core that gets, you know, manufactured doesn't change. There's no variable there because it is extruded and then chopped off and then weighed, and it weighs the same. The one thing that does has a variable to it is the thickness of the material that they make the jackets out of. And what that thickness does, okay, what that thickness does, it depending upon its thickness, when they swage the jacket onto the core and they bond it, what happens is that the jacket material grows in length. That means that your bearing surface right there is going to grow in length, and that changes things in the harmonics of the barrel, if that makes any sense. So, like that one right there, that's like 5,000ths, you know, 5,000ths below what those are. Huh? See? There you go. Right on the money. So what you do is you take the bag and you go through with your caliper and your bullet comparator here, comparator. See, there you go, 5,000ths below. And you go through them and you measure the distance between your ogive and the base of the bullet. And then you sort them out accordingly. Like, look at that, 10,000ths. There you go. See? We're on zero again. So they're all just a little bit different. You know, there's going to be like 3 or 4 different groups of bullets in that one bag. You know, some are a little longer, some are a little shorter than others. There you go, 10 thousandths below. And, you know, I really honestly don't think there's going to be a big a difference, you know, that big of a difference in the way of accuracy shooting these versus the ones that are 10 thousandths shorter versus the ones that are, you know, 5 thousandths shorter. You know, I mean, I really honestly don't think there's going to be that big of a difference in their own group. If you follow what I'm saying, you know. But it's just a little extra, you know, there you go, 10 thousandths. You know, supposedly these are all the same lot. You know, so if they're all the same lot and they're all made on the same machine, the only thing that has changed is the thickness of the metal that they use. The copper jacket, the thickness is different, and it varies in thickness as they're punching out the little cups. Yeah, I'll throw this one over in the 5 thousandths. But you know, there you go. Right on the money. It takes a little while to sort them out, but you know, you're not wasting your time if it gives you better results on your target. Okay? You know, one way or the other, I mean, if you use dies that seat from the ogive, which is the only dies really to have. Don't buy dies that are going to seat the bullet from the tip of the bullet. Always buy dies that are going to, you know, seat from the ogive right here. Okay, that's what you want. The ogive will be consistent. The tip won't on bullets. So when you're seating, your seating depth will always go into the cantilever if the ogive is consistent when you press the bullet into the you know, into the case, into the mouth of the case. Let's check that one. See, that one's +5. And like I said, you know, it's just one of those little, you know, things that you do, you know, to get better results. I'm going to load these with 4064, and I know I've made the statement earlier about 4064 being a slow powder for the M1 Grand. As long as you're shooting like 150s, you shouldn't really have a problem. It's when you start getting them the 170 or 175 grain bullet and firing it out of the M1 Grand, the 4064, I believe, it exerts a little bit too much pressure on the bolt. And 4895 or Reloader 15 is a little better choice because it burns a little faster. Yeah, see? We're on the money. So anyway, that's one of the things that I wanted to go ahead and shoot a video about. I'm going to load these up, and I'm going to load them in once-fired cases. Got some once-fired cases. They're going to be separate from the other loads that I have made because I've used CCI primers. What else I want to bring up? Oh, Sierras. Okay, the Run Home to Mama bullet. Okay, this is the, you know, I mean, if nothing else works, just buy a box of Sierras. You've heard that before. Okay, actually, any major company that makes bullets, usually their match bullets are pretty consistent, and it goes back to what I was saying earlier. Okay, let's set up the zero. Let's set up the zero for that one bullet there. We're going to take our dial, we're going to set it right there on 0. Okay, and that's the Sierra match bullet, right? And we're going to go through these. See? 0. And what Sierra has done is they use a 0. They use a consistent thickness to their jacket. There is a consistent thickness to their jacket. When they punch the jacket material, right there, 0. You know, their ogives stay the same. To the base of the bullet, to the ogive. See? Just, You know, which is kind of upsetting to me. When I bought these PPU, this box of 100, you know, this bag of 100 of them, was, boy, I can't remember. It was upwards about $20 for a box, or for a bag of 100. Now, I went out to Sportsman Warehouse and bought these for, I think, $27.50 for a box. Now, maybe these are $10 more than those. But one thing about these is that you're not sitting down doing this, you know, because, you know, Sierra has done the job of making sure their jacket material, see, zero. I mean, they're all going to turn out that way, believe me. I mean, their jacket thickness is the same, and that's it. So I wanted to show you guys that. Let me go ahead and recalibrate this so I can finish that. Alright. Back on zero. Alright. Double check that. Yeah, we're back on zero. Okay. One thing I do want to talk about later is this little device right here. Guys, unless you use consistently made brass, this is not really a good measuring device. It really isn't. I mean, you're better off with a Nico. You know, like Fortune Cookie uses. It has rollers where you actually roll the brass, and then the dial indicator rides up and down on the bearing surface of the bullet to show if you're out or round. This right here, it relies solely on this cone shape right here. Okay, so what you're doing is you're taking into consideration mass-produced brass, that this area right here is going to be the same. I mean, you're going to have the same thickness and everything, and same diameter on every single piece of brass, which to me, unless you buy custom brass like Lapua or, you know, any of those, you're not going to get that. And so this machine this measuring device right here, it really doesn't provide to me an accurate way of measuring runout. I would avoid buying this. You know, it looks cool and everything, and it looks all fancy and stuff, but the bottom line, it has some built-in characteristics in it that cause it to not work that well. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and upload this, and I'll tell you what, I'll probably end up seeing you guys out on the range. That's about it. Till next time.